Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram Anoraniamsam Anusmaredyah Sarvasyadhataram Achintya roopam Aditya varnam Tamasah parastat. Some pointers are given as to how to meditate upon God. Kavim, number 1. Puranam, number 2. Anushasitaram, number 3. Anoraniamsam, number 4. Sarvasyadhataram, number 5. Achintya roopam, number 6. Aditya varnam, number 7. Tamasah parastat, number 8. So how many pointers? 8 pointers are given in brief. So how to meditate upon that God? I understand I should withdraw the mind from the world, but how to meditate upon that God? So now we have 8 pointers. We will just reorganize them so that explaining them becomes easy. So first one we will take Aditya varnam. So what is the nature of Bhagavan? He is like Aditya. Aditya means what? Sun. Varna means color. The one having the color, the brilliance, the shine of the sun. Now please understand, we are not talking of the external sun. We are talking of the light of consciousness. Now these are all mystic terms used. So if you read the translation, you will see that some light of sun has to be meditated upon. These are all mystic terms. So therefore we need great acharyas like Bhagavan Shankaracharya to comment upon it and to make us realize what it is. So what is this Aditya varnam? We are talking of the light of consciousness. So what is being said? Meditate upon God as the very consciousness in you, which is of the nature of light. Brilliant light. Now very many times consciousness is compared with light. What is light? How will you define light? Light is that in the presence of which things are seen. Is the definition okay? What is light? How will you define light? Light is that in the presence of which things are seen. Second definition, light is that which doesn't need another light to make itself known. Isn't it? These 2 definitions are okay. Light is that in the presence of which everything is seen, and light is that which doesn't need any other light to make its presence felt. The same properties are applicable to the light of consciousness also. Now what is the unique feature about this light of consciousness? It is this light of consciousness in the presence of which we are aware of everything around us. We are conscious of everything around us. What all are we conscious of? We are conscious of Shabda. Shabda means sound. Sparsha, touch. Roopa, form. Rasa, taste. Gandha, smell. We are conscious of Shabda, Sparsha, Rasa, Roopa, Rasa, Gandha. In the light of consciousness, we are aware of sound. In the light of consciousness, we are aware of form, smell, touch, taste, etc. So in which light are we conscious of all this? We are conscious of all this in the light of consciousness. So consciousness can be compared to a light, in the light of which we are aware of all this. Yes or no? Yes. In the light of consciousness, I am aware of my existence. In the light of consciousness, I am aware of my thoughts. So when you close your eyes, what do you see? You see your thoughts. How do you see your thoughts? In which light do you see your thoughts? So we say, we see these thoughts in the light of consciousness. So therefore, consciousness can be compared with light. To see the light, you don't need another light. In the same way, to experience consciousness, do you need anything else? Do you need your eyes to experience consciousness? Do you need your skin to experience consciousness? No, you don't need any of your sense organs to experience consciousness. In fact, you don't need your mind also to experience consciousness. Consciousness is self-evident. It is illumining, just like the light. You know you are. I know I am. I may be deaf, dumb, etc. But I know I am. That amness is consciousness, is awareness. So Bhagavan has to be meditated as the very consciousness. And this light of consciousness is a very unique light, highly superior to the ordinary light. In what way this light of consciousness is special? Ordinary light can show you at the most the color and form of a thing. It cannot show you Shabda, Sparsha, etc. Only Rupa can be shown. Shabda, can you see with the ordinary light? Sparsha, Rupa you can see. Rasa, Gandha, no. Ordinary light has no entry into any of this. With the ordinary light, can you see your thoughts? But with the light of consciousness, you can. This light is a unique light which can know everything. Can you know your feelings with ordinary light? With light of consciousness, you can be aware of your feelings. Isn't it? Now see the next term, Tamasah parastat. This light is a unique light which can even illumine darkness. Tamas. Can you illumine darkness with ordinary light? The moment the light comes, darkness is gone. Can you see darkness with ordinary light? But the beauty of consciousness is you can see darkness in the light of consciousness also, isn't it? When the room is dark, in which light are you seeing that darkness of the room? In the light of consciousness. When you close your eyes, what do you experience? Darkness. In which light are you seeing that darkness behind your eyes? In the light of consciousness. That's why it is said, Tamasah parastat. It is beyond darkness also. It is the one which illumines even the darkness. Now this tamas also means avidya, ignorance. This light of consciousness is such that it illumines your knowledge also. It illumines your ignorance also. This is another beauty of this consciousness. I know English. Isn't it? I am aware of my knowledge of English. So in the light of awareness, I know my knowledge of English. At the same time, I don't know Spanish. How do you know? You don't know Spanish. In the light of consciousness, I am aware of my Spanish ignorance. So what is this consciousness doing? It is illumining my ignorance also. So this consciousness is able to illumine my knowledge also. It is able to illumine my ignorance also. Tamasah parastat. That's the beauty of consciousness. So how to meditate on God? Meditate as one's own consciousness. Something which never comes and goes. Something which is always there in the three states. Whether it is waking state, whether it is dream state, whether it is deep sleep state, consciousness is always there. Meditate upon that. And what is the nature of consciousness? Sarvasyadhataram. Third term. Sarvasyadhataram means what? The support of everything. This consciousness which is there, shining in your heart, don't take it to be light. as the scientists do, don't think that this consciousness is a product of some chemical reaction happening in the body. This is what they say. It is not the product of some chemical reaction happening in the body. Rather, it is the very support of the whole world. Sarvasyadhataram. How can you say this consciousness is the support of the whole world? Where do you see the world? Where do you experience the world? We all experience this world in our mind, isn't it? Mind is there, world is there. Mind is not there, world is not there. This is our experience. When we go to sleep, is the world there? No. Why? Mind is not there. So whenever the mind comes, world comes. Whenever the mind goes, world goes. So therefore, what can we conclude? World depends on the mind for its existence. Whenever the mind is, world is. Whenever the mind is not, world is not. Therefore, what is the conclusion? The world depends on the mind for its existence. Quite difficult nut to crack. When the fire is, smoke is. When the fire is not, smoke is not. So therefore, smoke depends on the fire for its existence. Fine. If this be true, what is our experience? When the mind is, world is. When the mind is not, world is not. Therefore, who depends on whom? The world depends on the mind for its existence. So which is higher? Mind is higher. Why? Mind supports the world. No, Swamiji, we may be sleeping, but the world is still there. No. The world is there for whom? For another person who is waking. Isn't it? That another person is also seeing the world through his mind only, no? Without mind, let anyone challenge to experience the world. Everybody is seeing through the mind only. There is no world without mind. So therefore, the whole world exists in the mind. Now what is mind? Mind is nothing but flow of thoughts. And where do these thoughts exist? All these thoughts exist in consciousness. How do we know? We know it. When we sit in meditation, we find the thoughts. Where do you find the thoughts? In consciousness, in awareness. I am aware of the thoughts coming. I am aware of the thoughts going. So where are these thought ripples present? They are present in consciousness. So who supports the thoughts? Consciousness. World is supported by the mind. Mind is nothing but thoughts. Thoughts are supported by consciousness. So therefore, what is the conclusion? World is supported by consciousness. So therefore, consciousness becomes all supporter. Sarvasyadhataram. Everything exists in consciousness. Everything is essentially consciousness. And therefore, Achintya roopam. What is the nature of consciousness? You cannot think of it. Why? Thoughts exist in consciousness. Thoughts are like the ripples in consciousness. You cannot think of consciousness. You can only be conscious of thoughts. This is a statement. You cannot think of consciousness. You can only be conscious. You cannot think of it. You can only be it. Consciousness is not something which you can think. It is something you have to just be. That state of being is the state of experiencing consciousness. The state of being is the state of experiencing God. Seeing God is being God. Abiding in consciousness is the way to experience consciousness. You can't think of consciousness. Why you can't think of consciousness? Because Anoraniamsam. It is subtler than the subtlest. It is the subtlest thing in this world. Anoraniamsam. Very, very subtle. Subtlest. How do you define the subtlety of a thing? How do you define the subtlety? When more and more senses are able to grasp an object, then we say it is a grosser thing. For example, earth. Earth has got Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. All the 5 Jnanendriyas can perceive earth. You can touch it, smell it, it has color. So Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha is there. Therefore we say it is the grossest. Because all the 5 sense organs can perceive it. Next higher is water. In that what is missing? Water? Yes, water. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Gandha is missing. If it is pure water, you will not have any smell. Smell is a property only of earth. So in water, the first 4 are there. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa. So we can say water is subtler than earth. Go one step higher. What is the next one? Fire. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa is there. Rasa and Gandha is not there. Taste is not there. Smell is not there in fire. So we can say fire is still subtler. What is the next one? Air. In air, Shabda and Sparsha alone are there. Rupa, Rasa, Gandha is not there. So air is still subtler. And finally, space. In space, only Shabda is there. Sound is there. The rest, nothing is there. So space is the subtlest as far as the 5 elements are concerned. Is there something subtler than space? We say yes, mind. Why? The whole space, where does it exist? It exists in mind. In deep sleep, what happens to space? Space is not there. So since mind is the supporter of space, we say mind is subtler than space. And the beauty of this mind is it is able to accommodate all Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha without getting affected. The subtle thing can accommodate the grosser thing. So mind is subtler than space. Is there something subtler than mind? Yes. Who is he? Nothing but consciousness. So which is the subtlest? Anoraniamsam. The subtlest is consciousness. Subtler than the subtlest. Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan, we say. It is not only subtler than the subtlest, it is greater than the greatest. Anyway, that mahato mahiyan is not here. Only Anoraniamsam. Now this is the way you have to meditate upon this consciousness. Now, another thing is also implied here. If I have to experience this consciousness, because this consciousness is very, very subtle, I must have my instrument also equally subtle to experience subtle consciousness. Yes or no? A subtler thing can be experienced only through a subtler mind. So therefore, if I have to experience this state of Godhood, this consciousness, what should I have? I should have the right instrument. And what is the right instrument? A subtle mind is the right instrument. A subtle mind is nearer to God. What do you mean a subtle mind? A pure mind is a subtle mind. Pure mind. What do you mean a pure mind? A mind filled with devotion. A mind filled with dispassion. A mind filled with all noble virtues. Daivi Sampat. Such a mind is called a pure mind. And in such a pure mind, being subtle, it is able to experience that state of consciousness. So God is residing in the hearts of all, but who will experience Him? The one who has a pure mind, subtle mind, Anoraniamsam. And because consciousness is the very support of the whole world, Kavim, Kavi. Who is a Kavi? Kavi doesn't mean poet here. Kavi means Krantadarshi or Sarvajna, the one who is able to see the past, present and future. Omniscient. Kavi means omniscient. Sarvajna. Bhagavan is Sarvajna. He knows everything. Why he knows everything? He knows everything because everything is residing in him. He is Sarvasyadhataram. Just like we can say, ocean knows every wave because every wave resides in ocean. The clay knows every pot and pan. The gold knows every golden ornaments. In the same way we can say, this consciousness knows everything because everything resides in it. And therefore, he is called Kavi, Sarvajna, omniscient. And therefore, Anushasitaram. What do you mean Anushasitaram? The ruler, the one who rules, one who commands, one who disciplines everyone. Anushasana means discipline. So Anushasitaram means the one who disciplines everyone. He is the karma phala data, the giver of karma phala. No one dare to question him. Bhagavan, what you have done is wrong. What you have given me is less. You should have given more. You dare not complain or question because he is Kavi. He knows everything. Why he knows everything? As consciousness, he has witnessed everything. Another name of consciousness is Sakshi. Sakshat ikshate iti Sakshi. The one who has seen it, everything directly. Another name of consciousness is Sakshi. Sometimes we say witnessing consciousness. The ultimate witness in us is this consciousness. So therefore, whatever naughty things we have done, he knows it. So since he knows it, he is the right person to give justice. He is the right person to give the decision. Nobody dares to question. That is why when the physical body is given to us, we are not even asked. We are just given, isn't it? As though we are thrown into this world with a physical body, in a particular environment, we are not even asked. Why? There is no need of asking. He has seen it. What has to be given, he knows. So he is rightly named Karma Phala Data, the giver of Karma Phala. He is giver of Karma Phala because he has seen the karma. In all our court, there are, they say, lakhs of cases pending. Years together, it is just piling up. In all court, whether it is High Court, Local Court, Supreme Court, it's just piling up. Why? It's just piling up because you can't take a decision. You can't take a decision because there are two parties having opposing claims and nobody has seen the truth. We don't know. Such a case is not there in Bhagavan's court. Why? He has seen it directly. So he need not ask anyone. Immediately all the cases are disposed of, cleared. No pending cases. Just imagine infinite number of jivatmas, what kind of karma they have done, when they have done, why they have done, with what intention they have done, how much they have done. Every data is there with him. Sarvajna. Just imagine how difficult it must have been for him to take decision. No difficulty at all. Why? He has seen it. He's a constant, what you call, on CCTV. This CCTV is there everywhere. And what is the battery capacity? All the time, infinite battery capacity. What is the memory capacity? Infinite memory capacity. Each and every jiva's infinite past is recorded there in this small brain. Can you believe? Everything is recorded. His feelings, his emotions, intentions, past actions, everything is recorded. What a wonderful CCTV it must be, isn't it? Infinite battery backup, infinite memory, and no servicing needed. It will never get fused also. Right? That is how he has become Anushasitaram, the ruler. That's why it is said, not even a speck of dust can move without his permission here or there. Not even a blade of grass can move. In Upanishad it is said, Bhayadasya tapati, bhayat tapati suryaha, bhayat indrascha vayuscha, mrityur dhavati panchama. Everything in this cosmos is functioning so well. Out of his fear, the sun rises. Out of his fear, the wind blows. Out of his fear, the fire burns. Everything is so perfect, except human beings. Everything is so perfect. Why everything is perfect? There is a lawgiver and equally strict law administrator. Everything is perfect in this world. Anushasitaram. This way you must meditate upon the consciousness in you. Who is that God? Right there in you as your own self. As the very I in us. My own higher nature. This perfect Bhagavan is not somewhere outside. It is my own higher nature. So what happens when you start meditating on such a Bhagavan? When you start meditating on such a Bhagavan, what happens is my self-respect grows. Yes, Bhagavan, I am a useless fellow, but one great solace is there, that you are there as my very own self. I may not have any ability or talent. I am a useless fellow, okay. I am a good for nothing BMI, okay. But there is one great thing in me. And what is it? The Lord Himself is the self in me. So what happens? You will stop comparing yourself with others. You are great in your own way. Not because your BMI is great, but that consciousness which lends sentiency to the BMI, that consciousness is great. That consciousness is infinite. That consciousness is all-knowing. That consciousness is all-powerful. And where is that consciousness? Right in me, as my own higher me. Such a person becomes liberated from all kinds of negativities of the mind, like jealousy, etc., like anger, etc., like hatred, etc. There is something in me so glorious, so perfect, so infinite, that I have to just turn to Him to get a sense of fulfillment. I don't have to depend on anything. I don't have to depend on my abilities and talents. No. I just have to depend on that consciousness. I have to just shift my attention onto that consciousness, which is my own self. And the moment your attention shifts there, all the negativities of the mind just disappears like the mist in front of rising sun. There's the glory of Vedantic knowledge. That's why there's a beautiful verse in Mundakopanishad. Dvasuparna sayuja sakhaya samanam vriksham parishasvajate tayoranyaf pippalam swadu atti anashnan anyo abhichakashiti. Very famous metaphor in Mundakopanishad. There are two birds. There are two birds where they are very similar. Very similar. and they are perched on the same tree. One is sitting on top, the other is sitting on the bottom. Two branches. One is sitting higher, the other is sitting lower. Two birds who look very similar. Dva suparna. And they are very, they are very friendly with each other. Sakhaya. They are friends. Samanam vriksham parishatsva jate. Both of them are sitting on the same tree. Out of that, tayoho anyaha. One bird, what is it doing? Pippalam swadu atti. It is eating the fruit of that tree. And what is the other bird doing? Anashnan anyaha abhijakashiti. The other bird is just watching on, just looking, just witnessing, not eating. So one bird, what is it doing? It is eating the fruit. What is the other bird doing? It is just watching. And what is the condition of this bird which is eating the fruit? Now who is this bird? It is none other than we Jivatmas who are eating the fruits. What are the fruits? Karma phala is the fruit. Punya karma phala, sweet fruit. Papa karma phala, bitter fruit. So all kinds of fruits are there. So who is this fruit eating bird? We the Jivatmas. So what is his condition? Samane vrikshe purusho nimagnaha anishaya shochati mukhyamanaha. This bird is miserable, grieving, suffering because of his own limitations. But jushtam yada pashyati anyamisham, the moment its attention turns to the other bird, and what is the other bird doing? Doing nothing, just witnessing. What happens? Asya mahimanam iti vita shokaha. All his sorrows gone away. The moment it sees the other bird. Who is this other bird? This other bird is none other than the consciousness in us. What is it doing? It is just watching. Akarta abhokta. Not doing anything, just watching. And who is this consciousness? Sakhaya is the closest friend, well-wisher. So what are we supposed to do to put an end to all miseries? Turn within. You are already perfect. You don't have to become perfect in this world. You don't have to attain anything of this world. You are already perfect. Only know that you are perfect. And once you come to know that you are already perfect nature, you are liberated. Even while living. You don't have to even drop the body also.